The pregnancy test clattered into the bathroom sink, and Aaliyah Brooks stared at the two pink lines like they might rearrange themselves into something else. Something that made sense. They didn't. Her hands gripped the porcelain edge hard enough to hurt. The fluorescent light above buzzed, casting everything in that ugly yellow glow that made her brown skin look gray. She looked gray. She felt gray. "No," she whispered.
No, no, no.
But the test didn't care about her protests. Neither did the three others lined up on the counter, all showing the same result. She'd bought different brands, like that would somehow change biology. It didn't. Aaliyah pressed her palms against her eyes, but that only made the memory sharper. New York. 6 weeks ago. The hotel bar with its dim lighting and expensive whiskey she couldn't afford. The man in the corner booth who'd watched her with eyes so dark they looked black. The mask she'd worn to that stupid Halloween charity gala her culinary school friend had dragged her to. She remembered his hands, his voice, the way he'd said her name exactly once, like he was memorizing it. She didn't remember his face. Not clearly. The mask had covered half of it, and the alcohol had blurred the rest. Stupid, she said to her reflection. So stupid. Her phone buzzed on the counter. Marcus. Her little brother's name flashed across the screen with a text asking if she was still coming to his basketball game on Friday. Friday. 2 days away. She was supposed to act normal. Supposed to keep working night shifts at the bakery, keep paying rent on this shoebox apartment in Chicago's South Side, keep pretending her life was going somewhere. Now she was pregnant by a stranger whose name she didn't know. Aaliyah grabbed the tests, shoved them in the trash, then pulled them out again.
What if she needed them?
For what? Proof? She laughed, and it came out bitter and sharp. The knock on her apartment door made her freeze. Nobody knocked on her door at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. Nobody knew where she lived except Marcus, and he was across town at his friend's place. Another knock. Harder this time. Aaliyah's heart kicked into overdrive. She left the tests on the counter and moved through her tiny apartment, bypassing the door to grab her phone first. Her finger hovered over 911. Aaliyah Brooks. The voice came through the door, male and calm. "I need to speak with you." She didn't answer. "I know you're there. I can hear your breathing." Her breath caught. How did he know her name? "I'm not here to hurt you," the voice continued. "But we need to talk.
Now."
"Go away or I'm calling the police," she said, hating how her voice shook. Silence. Then, "The police can't help you with this." Something in his tone made her skin prickle. Not a threat exactly. A fact. She looked through the peephole. A man stood in the hallway, tall and dressed in all black. He wasn't looking at the door. He was looking directly at the peephole, like he knew exactly where her eye was. Aaliyah jerked back. 5 minutes, he said. "That's all I'm asking. I don't know you. You do. You just don't remember." A pause. New York. 6 weeks ago. The Meridian Hotel. Her blood went cold. "You wore a gold mask," he continued, voice dropping lower. "I wore black. You ordered whiskey neat and said you didn't usually drink brown liquor."
Oh God.
"You told me your name was Riley," she whispered.
Elite.
Her hand was shaking so badly, she almost dropped the phone. "How did you find me?" "I'll explain. Let me in." "Are you insane? I'm not letting a stranger into my apartment at 11 at night." "I'm not a stranger. I'm the father of your child." The world tilted. Aaliyah grabbed the door frame to steady herself. "That's impossible," she managed. "There's no way you could know that. You took 4 pregnancy tests tonight. You bought them at 3 different pharmacies over the last 2 days. You've been nauseous every morning for a week. You're 8 days late." She couldn't breathe. "You've been following me. I've been keeping you safe." "That's not safe. That's stalking."
Aaliyah.
The way he said her name made her stomach flip. Low and careful, like she was something fragile. "I understand you're scared. But there are people who know about you now. People who will use you to get to me. If you don't let me in, I can't protect you." "Protect me from what?" "From the consequences of knowing me."
Wait.
He's been stalking her for 3 months, face screaming in fear. "Quick question. Would you open that door?"
Door.
Fire equals run girl run. Skull equals she's cooked. Eyes equals I'm so hooked. Where are you watching from?
Drop your city.
Globe showing Europe, Africa. Like, if you're already stressed plus drop part 2 below if you need answers. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this every day. Her hands were sweating. This was insane. She should call the police. She should scream. She should do literally anything except what she was about to do. She unlocked the door. He was taller than she remembered. Broader. He moved into her apartment like he owned it, taking in everything with a sweep of those dark eyes. Up close, without the mask, she could see his face clearly. Sharp jawline. Korean features. Hair pushed back and immaculate despite the late hour. He wore a black suit that probably cost more than her entire year's rent. "You're him," she said quietly. "From New York. My name is Kang Jae-Min." He turned to face her fully. "And you need to sit down." "I'm fine standing." His expression didn't change, but something flickered in his eyes. "Suit yourself." Aaliyah crossed her arms, trying to look braver than she felt. "How long have you been following me?" "Since New York."
Why?
"Because I don't believe in coincidences, and I don't leave loose ends." "I'm not a loose end. I'm a person." "You're both." He moved to her window, checked the street below, then closed the curtain. "You're also carrying something that belongs to me." Her hand went instinctively to her stomach. "This isn't a thing, and it doesn't belong to anyone." Poor choice of words. He didn't sound apologetic. "But the fact remains that you're pregnant with my child, which makes you a target." "A target for what?" "For anyone who wants leverage against me." She laughed, but it came out shaky. "I don't even know you. Why would anyone care about me?" Jae-Min turned from the window. In the dim light of her apartment, he looked dangerous. Not in an obvious way. In a controlled, coiled way. Like violence was an option he kept in his back pocket. "Because I'm not a good man, Aaliyah. And the world I live in doesn't forgive weakness." "Then leave." "I won't tell anyone. I'll handle this myself."
No.
"Excuse me?" I said no. He said it like that settled everything. "You're not handling this alone. You're coming with me." "Like hell I am." "This isn't the negotiation." Aaliyah's temper flared. "You don't get to show up at my door and start making demands. I don't care who you think you are. I'm someone with the resources to keep you alive." His voice stayed level, which somehow made it worse. "And someone with enough enemies to ensure you won't be alive long if you stay here." "You're being dramatic." "Am I?" He pulled out his phone, tapped something, and held it out to her. "This is from 3 hours ago." The screen showed a photo. Her apartment building. Someone had circled her window in red. Her mouth went dry. "That was sent to 6 different people," Jae-Min said quietly. "All of whom would very much like to hurt me. The easiest way to do that is through you." "I didn't ask for this." "Neither did I." He pocketed the phone. "But here we are." Aaliyah sank onto her couch. Her legs wouldn't hold her anymore. "This can't be happening." "It is."
Who are you?
"Really?" He was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Someone you should have stayed away from." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one you're getting tonight." He glanced at his watch. "Pack a bag. Essentials only. We're leaving in 10 minutes. I'm not going anywhere with you." "Yes, you are." "You can't just kidnap me." "I'm not kidnapping you. I'm relocating you for your own safety." "That's literally the same thing." Semantics. He moved toward her bedroom. "I'll help you pack." "Get out of my room." He stopped, looked back at her. "Aaliyah, I'm trying to be reasonable. But there are 3 men watching this building right now, and at least one of them has a rifle. We don't have time for you to process this." Her blood turned to ice. "You're lying." "I wish I was." Something in his face made her believe him. Maybe it was the complete lack of emotion. Maybe it was the way he kept checking the windows like he expected them to shatter any second. "What about my brother?" she asked. "What about my job?" "Your brother is safe. I have people watching him." "Your job," he shrugged. "I'll handle it." "You can't just handle my life." "Watch me." The anger came then hot and sharp. "You don't own me. You don't get to make these choices. I'm not making choices. I'm dealing with reality. He stepped closer, and she refused to back up. You can hate me later. Right now, you need to trust me. I don't trust you at all. Smart. His mouth almost smiled, but irrelevant. They stared at each other. Aaliyah's heart was pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. If I go with you, she said slowly, I'm not agreeing to anything else. This is temporary. Until you figure out your mess. Agreed. And I want to talk to Marcus. I want to know he's really safe. You can call him from the car. I want to see him. Not yet. Too dangerous. Then I'm not going. Jaemin's jaw tightened. You're very stubborn. You're very controlling. It's kept me alive this long. Maybe you should try being less of a target. That got a real reaction. His eyes narrowed. If it were that simple, I would. Aaliyah stood up, moved past him to her bedroom. 5 minutes. That's all you're getting. 10 is safer. 5. She threw clothes into a duffel bag, without thinking.
Jeans.
Shirts. Underwear. Her toothbrush. The photo of her and Marcus from last Christmas. Her hands were shaking the whole time. This was insane. She was leaving her apartment with a man she didn't know because he said people were watching her. She should stay. She should call the police. She should do anything except this. But that photo on his phone kept flashing in her mind. Her windows circled in red. Jae-Min appeared in her doorway. Time. I'm coming. He took the bag from her without asking. There's a car downstairs. Black sedan. Get in the back seat and don't look at anyone. What if someone stops me? They won't. He said it with complete certainty. I'll be right behind you. The hallway was empty when they stepped out. Aaliyah's neighbor's door was cracked open like usual, but no one looked out. Everything felt wrong.
Too quiet. Too still.
The elevator ride down felt like it took forever. Jae-Min stood slightly in front of her, his body angled like a shield. She noticed the bulge under his jacket for the first time. A gun. He was carrying a gun.
You're armed, she said.
Yes. Is that legal? Rarely. The elevator dinged. Ground floor. The doors opened, and Jae-Min moved first, scanning the lobby before gesturing for her to follow. The black sedan was idling right outside. A man in a dark suit stood by the rear door, his eyes hidden behind sunglasses. At night. Because apparently that was normal in whatever world Jae-Min lived in. Ma'am, the man said, opening the door. Aaliyah got in. The leather was soft and smelled expensive. Jae-Min slid in beside her, and the car was moving before his door even closed. Where are we going? She asked. Somewhere safe. That's vague. It's intentional. She stared out the window, watching her neighborhood disappear. The bakery where she worked night shifts. The corner store where she bought groceries. The park where Marcus played basketball. All of it slipping away like it belonged to someone else's life. I need to call my brother, she said. Jae-Min handed her a phone. Not hers. A new one, sleek and black. It's secure, he said. Use that from now on. What's wrong with my phone? Everything. He took her old phone from her jacket pocket before she could protest. This one's clean. Untraceable. You're really paranoid, aren't you? I'm really alive. She dialed Marcus's number from memory. He picked up on the third ring, groggy. Who's this? It's me. Aaliyah? Why are you calling from a weird number? It's almost midnight. I know.
Sorry.
I just wanted to check on you.
I've fine. Sleeping.
Or I was. He yawned. You okay? You sound weird.
I've fine.
Just wanted to hear your voice. You're being creepy. Despite everything, she smiled. Love you too, Marcus. Yeah. Love you. Go to sleep. He hung up. Aaliyah held the phone, feeling the weight of the lie she'd just told. She wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. He's safe, Jae-Min said. I have 2 people on him at all times. He won't even notice them. If anything happens to him, it won't. You can't promise that. I can. He looked at her directly. Your brother is the only leverage anyone has against you. which means keeping him safe keeps you compliant. That's a horrible thing to say. It's an honest thing to say. The car drove for another 20 minutes. The buildings got taller, nicer. They crossed into a part of Chicago Aaliyah had only seen from bus windows. The kind of neighborhood where doormen wore uniforms and every car cost more than a house. They pulled into an underground garage. The driver, who hadn't said a single word, parked in a spot marked private. 2 more men in suits were waiting. "This is excessive," Aaliyah muttered. "This is Tuesday." She followed him to an elevator that required a key card. The doors closed, and Jae-Min pressed the button for the penthouse. Of course. Because apparently she was living in a movie now. The elevator opened directly into an apartment. Not a hallway. Not a lobby. The elevator doors opened, and she was standing in someone's home. It was huge. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Minimalist furniture that looked uncomfortable but expensive. Everything in shades of black, white, and gray. "Guest room is down the hall," Jae-Min said. "Second door on the left. There's clothes in the closet that should fit." "You already have clothes for me? I'm fero." "You're creepy." "Effective." He set her bag down. "Kitchen is through there. Help yourself to anything. Don't go on the balcony. Don't answer the door. Don't leave without telling me." "So, I'm a prisoner." "You're protected." "Same thing." "Not even close." He loosened his tie, and for the first time since he'd shown up at her door, he looked tired. "I know this isn't what you wanted, but you're here now. Try to get some sleep." "I'm not tired." "You will be." He headed toward what she assumed was his bedroom. "There's a lock on your door if it makes you feel better. Use it." He disappeared before she could respond. Aaliyah stood in the middle of this sterile, expensive apartment and felt more alone than she had in years. She thought about running, finding the stairs, getting out of this building and disappearing. But that photo flashed in her mind again. Her window circled in red. She went to the guest room, closed the door, locked it. Then she sat on the edge of the bed and finally let herself cry. The morning came with nausea. Aaliyah barely made it to the attached bathroom before she was throwing up what little she'd eaten yesterday. When she finally stopped, she rinsed her mouth and caught sight of herself in the mirror. She looked like hell. Puffy eyes. Hair a mess. Still wearing yesterday's clothes. Someone knocked on the bedroom door. "Go away," she called. "There's ginger tea outside the door." Jae-Min's voice came through. "It'll help with the nausea."
She didn't respond.
"I'm not asking you to let me in. I'm just telling you it's there." His footsteps retreated. Aaliyah waited 5 minutes before cracking the door open. A cup of tea sat on a small tray, still steaming. She took it back inside, locked the door again, and sipped it slowly. It did help. She hated that it helped. She showered, changed into clothes from the closet, jeans and a sweater that fit perfectly, because of course they did. Then she forced herself to leave the room. The apartment was quiet. Sunlight streamed through those massive windows. Chicago spread out below like a postcard. She found the kitchen and discovered someone had left breakfast on the counter.
Toast. Fruit.
More tea. "You should eat." She jumped. Jae-Min was sitting at a dining table she had noticed, laptop open, dressed in a fresh suit. He looked like he'd been up for hours. "Do you ever sleep?" she asked. "Not much." She took the plate and sat at the opposite end of the table. "Where's everyone else?" "Your security team?"
Around.
"That's specific." "That's the point." He closed the laptop. "How are you feeling?" "Like my life exploded." "Fair." They sat in silence while she picked at the food. It was good.
Fresh.
Someone had made this specifically for her. "Who cooks?" she asked.
Ido.
That surprised her. "You cook?" "My mother insisted I learn. She said a man who can't feed himself isn't a man at all." Smart woman. She has her moments. Aaliyah ate a piece of toast. "So what happens now?" "Now you stay here while I handle things." "Handle what things?" "The people who are interested in you." "You mean the people who want to hurt you through me?" "Yes." "How many people are we talking about?" "More than I'd like." She set the toast down. "I need more than vague answers. If I'm stuck here, if my entire life just got turned upside down, I deserve to know why. Jae-Min leaned back in his chair. What do you want to know? What do you do? Really? I run a logistics company. That's a lie. It's partially true. We do move things from place to place. What kind of things? The kind that people pay large amounts of money to move discreetly. Drugs? Sometimes. Also information. Money. People who need to disappear. Her stomach turned. You're a criminal. I'm a businessman operating in gray areas. That's a fancy way of saying criminal. I'm not going to argue semantics with you. He stood, refilled his coffee. Yes, Aaliyah. I'm involved in illegal activities. I have been for over a decade. I control most of the East Coast logistics for a network of people who don't exist on paper. And because of that, I have enemies. Lots of them. And now I'm tied to you. Now you're carrying my child, which makes you leverage. She pushed the plate away. I can't do this. You don't have a choice. There's always a choice. Not anymore. He returned to his seat, met her eyes. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to be honest. The moment you became pregnant, you became a target. The moment I found out, you became my responsibility. This isn't something you can walk away from. What if I want to end it? The words came out before she could stop them. The pregnancy. His expression didn't change. Is that what you want? I don't know. Her hands were shaking again. I didn't plan this. I don't even know you. And now you're telling me my life is in danger because of something I didn't ask for. If that's what you choose, I won't stop you. That surprised her. You won't. It's your body. Your choice. But the threat doesn't go away. You've already been marked. Even if there's no baby, there are people who will assume I care about you, which makes you valuable. So I'm screwed either way. Yes. The bluntness of it knocked the air out of her lungs. I hate you. I know. I mean it.
I really hate you.
I know. He sipped his coffee. But hate me from here, where I can keep you alive. She wanted to throw something at him. Wanted to scream. Wanted to rewind 6 weeks and never go to that stupid gala in New York. Instead, she stood up and walked to the windows. The city looked peaceful from up here. Like none of the ugliness could reach this high. How long do I have to stay here? She asked. Until it's safe. When will that be? I don't know. She pressed her forehead against the glass. I had a life. A small one, but it was mine. I had plans. You still have plans. They're just different now. That's not comforting. It's not meant to be. The days blurred together. Aaliyah stayed in the penthouse because she didn't have another choice. Jae-Min came and went at odd hours, always with guards, always tense. She tried to establish some kind of routine. Reading. Cooking when she could stomach it. Staring out the windows and pretending she wasn't trapped. On the 4th night, she woke to voices. Low and urgent. Coming from somewhere in the apartment. She cracked her bedroom door open. Light spilled from Jae-Min's office down the hall. More than an inconvenience, a woman's voice said. Sharp and elegant. This is a liability. I'm aware. Jae-Min's voice, colder than Aaliyah had heard it. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, you've compromised everything we built for a woman you barely know. Serena? Don't. Footsteps. The woman was pacing. You brought her here. To your home. Do you understand what that signals to everyone? To me. This isn't about you. Everything you do is about me. We're partners, Jay. Or have you forgotten? I haven't forgotten anything. Then explain to me why you're risking our entire operation for this girl. Silence. Heavy and loaded. She's carrying my child, Jae-Min said finally. So you've said. And if I'm being honest, I don't believe it's worth the complication. Aaliyah's breath caught. What are you suggesting? Jae-Min's voice went very quiet. I'm suggesting you consider your priorities. The syndicate meeting is in 2 weeks. The Choi family is already questioning your judgment. If they sense weakness. They won't. They already do. Paper shuffling. This woman, this pregnancy, it makes you vulnerable. And vulnerability in our world is death. I can handle it. Can you? Because right now it looks like you're choosing her over everything we've built. I'm choosing to handle my responsibilities. Your responsibility is to the network, not to some pregnant girl you knocked up at a hotel. Aaliyah flinched. Watch your tone. Jaemin's voice could have cut glass. Or what? Serena laughed, bitter and sharp. You'll replace me?
Please. You need me, Jay. You've always needed me.
But this woman? She's nothing but a complication that'll get you killed. That's enough. Is it? Because I think we're just getting started. More footsteps. Closer to the door. If you won't deal with this problem, I will. You'll do nothing. Don't test me. Serena. Jaemin's voice dropped. I'm going to say this once. You touch her, you so much as look at her wrong, and I will end you. Partner or not. Do you understand? The silence that followed was electric. You've changed, Serena said finally. And not for the better. Maybe I needed to change. Maybe you needed to remember who you are. The door opened. But you will. Eventually. And when that girl realizes what you really are, she'll run. They always do. Heels clicked down the hallway. Aaliyah barely had time to close her door before Serena walked past. She caught a glimpse through the crack. Tall, elegant, beautiful in a dangerous way. Then she was gone. Aaliyah pressed her back against the door, heart racing. She just heard someone threaten her life.
Casually.
Like it was a business decision. She needed to get out of here. But where could she go? The next morning, Jae-Min was gone before she woke up. She found a note on the kitchen counter in sharp, precise handwriting. Don't leave the apartment. I'll be back tonight. She crumpled it. One of the guards, she'd learned his name was Chun, brought her lunch. He was young, maybe mid-20s, and he looked uncomfortable. Everything okay, ma'am? He asked. Does it look okay? No, ma'am. At least he was honest. Can I ask you something? Depends on the question. How long have you worked for him? 3 years. Is he always like this? Like what? Controlling.
Cold.
Terrifying. Chun almost smiled. He's worse when he cares about something. That's supposed to make me feel better? It's supposed to help you understand. He set the tray down. Boss isn't a good man. Never claimed to be. But he protects what's his. And right now, ma'am, that's you. I'm not his. Tell him that. Chun left before she could respond. Aaliyah spent the afternoon trying not to think about Serena's words. About being a complication. About being nothing. She was standing at the window when the glass shattered. 1 second she was staring at the skyline. The next, the world exploded in sound and glass and terror. Something hit her shoulder, spun her around. She hit the floor hard, ears ringing, shouting, running. Chun appeared above her, gun drawn, yelling something she couldn't hear. He pulled her up, dragged her away from the window. Blood was running down her arm. Go, go, go. Chun shoved her toward the hallway. Panic room, end of the hall, blue door, code is 1107 move.
She ran.
Behind her, more sounds.
Gunfire.
Someone screaming. The hallway stretched forever. Her shoulder burned. The blue door appeared, and she punched in the code with shaking, bloody fingers. The door opened. She fell inside. It was small, reinforced. A single light overhead. There was a phone on the wall, nothing else. She grabbed it. Dialed the only number she could remember. Jae-Min answered on the first ring. Aaliyah?
Someone shot at me.
Her voice cracked. The window. There was shooting. Chun said to come here. Are you in the panic room? Yes. Are you hurt? I don't know. My shoulder. There's blood. Listen to me. His voice cut through the panic. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone except me. I'm 10 minutes out. Jay. 10 minutes. I promise. The line went dead. Aaliyah slid down the wall, clutching her shoulder. The blood was warm and sticky. She couldn't tell if it was from the glass or something worse. Time stopped making sense. Could have been 10 minutes. Could have been an hour. Then someone was pounding on the door. Aaliyah. It's me. Jae-Min. She opened the door, and he was there, suit jacket gone, gun in hand, eyes wild. He took one look at her shoulder and swore in Korean. "Let me see." "It's fine. Let me see." She let him peel her sweater back. The cut was long but shallow. "Glass, not a bullet." "You're lucky," he said quietly. "I don't feel lucky." He pulled her into the hallway. Bodies were on the floor. Chun was alive, sitting against the wall, bleeding from his leg. 2 other men she didn't recognize were dead. "Don't look," Jae-Min said. But she already had.
Who were they? She asked.
People who should have known better. They went to a different apartment. Same building, different floor. This one was smaller, darker. Jae-Min sat her on the couch and brought a first aid kit. "This will hurt," he said, cleaning the cut. "Everything hurts." "I know." He worked efficiently, taping gauze over the wound. "You should rest." "I want answers." "Not now." "Yes, now." She grabbed his wrist. "Someone just tried to kill me. I deserve to know who and why." He stared at her hand on his wrist, then met her eyes. "You really want to know?" "Yes."
"Fine."
He stood, poured himself whiskey from a decanter on the bar. Drank it in one go. That was a message. From a family who thinks I've gotten soft. They wanted to prove they could reach you. "Did you kill them?" "Chun killed one. I killed the other." He said it so matter-of-factly, like he was discussing the weather. "How many people have you killed?" she asked. "You don't want that answer." "How many?" Enough to lose count. She should have been horrified. Should have run. But all she felt was numb. "Your shoulder," Jae-Min said, pouring another drink. "Does it hurt badly?" "It's fine."
"Aaliyah."
I said it's fine. She stood up and the room tilted. He caught her before she fell. "You're in shock," he said quietly. "Let me help you." "I don't want your help. I want my life back." "I can't give you that." "Then what can you give me?" He looked at her for a long moment. "The truth. All of it. If that's what you really want."
"Ido."
"Then sit down. Because this is going to take a while." And he told her everything. About the network. The territories. The money. The bodies. About Serena and their partnership that had started in blood and might end the same way. About the families who wanted him dead and the allies who'd turn on him the moment he showed weakness. "And the baby," Aaliyah said when he finished. "Where does that fit?" "It makes you valuable in ways I can't fully protect against." He refilled his glass, didn't drink it. "In my world, family is currency. A child, especially my child, represents a future. Legacy. That makes you and this baby worth more than money to the right people. So they'll keep coming." "Yes." "And you think you can stop them?" "I think I can try." She laughed, and it sounded broken. "That's not very reassuring." "I'm not in the business of reassurance. I'm in the business of survival." "Is that all this is? Survival?" He looked at her then, really looked at her, and something shifted in his expression.
"No."
"It's more than that. But I don't have the words for what it is yet." "Try." "You're carrying my child. That makes you mine to protect. But somewhere between New York and now, it became more than obligation." He set the glass down. "And that's the most dangerous thing of all."
"Why?"
"Because obligation I understand. This," he gestured between them, "this makes me vulnerable. And vulnerability kills." "Then maybe you should let me go." "I can't." "Why not?" "Because I don't want to." The honesty in his voice made her chest tight. "I hate this," she whispered. "I know. I hate you. I know that too. But I don't think I can leave." "Good." He moved closer, careful not to touch her injured shoulder. "Because I wasn't going to let you anyway." The next week passed in a strange kind of tension. Jae-Min was more present, more careful. He checked her shoulder daily, made sure she ate, answered questions when she asked them, though the answers weren't always comforting. They fell into a routine. He cooked breakfast. She pretended to read. They avoided talking about anything real. Until the night, she found him staring at ultrasound images on his laptop. "When did you get those?" she asked from the doorway. He didn't look up. "I had a doctor come by while you were sleeping. Just to check." Make sure everything was okay. Without asking me? Would you have said yes? That's not the point. The point is you're 12 weeks along, and everything looks healthy. He turned the laptop so she could see. That's your baby. She moved closer despite herself. The image was grainy, black, and white. But there, barely visible, was the outline of something human. Oh, she said softly. Yeah. They stared at the screen together. Aaliyah felt something shift inside her. Not quite acceptance, but acknowledgement. This was real. This was happening. Have you thought about names? Jae-Min asked. I've thought about a lot of things. Names aren't on the list yet. Fair enough. She closed the laptop. Can I ask you something? Always. Do you want this? The baby? Or is it just another obligation? He was quiet for a long time. Then, I don't know how to want things the way normal people do. I've spent so long wanting power, wanting control, wanting survival, that I don't know what it means to want something soft. That's not an answer. Yes, it is. He looked at her. I want this because it's yours. Because it's mine. Because it's proof that I'm capable of creating something that isn't destruction. That's terrifying. Welcome to my world. But despite the fear, despite everything, Aaliyah found herself softening toward him. Not forgiving. Not accepting. But understanding, maybe, that he was as trapped as she was. Just in a different cage. 2 days before the syndicate meeting, everything fell apart. Aaliyah woke to shouting. Jae-Min's voice, sharp and angry, coming from the living room. She grabbed a robe and went to investigate. He was on the phone, pacing like a caged animal. When he saw her, his expression went dark. I'll call you back. He hung up. We have a problem. What kind of problem? The kind that might get us both killed. He showed her his phone. Security footage from outside Marcus's school. 2 men in suits. Watching. Waiting. They went after Marcus? Her voice came out strangled. Not yet. But the message is clear. You said he was safe.
He was. Is.
My people are on him. Jae-Min ran a hand through his hair. But this is escalation. They're showing me they can reach anyone I care about. Then pull your people. Let me go. This isn't worth Marcus's life. It's too late for that. It's not.
We can end this right now.
I'll leave. I'll disappear. They'll still come for you. He gripped her shoulders, careful of her injury. Don't you understand? You're in this now. There's no getting out. Then what do? We go on offense. What does that mean? It means I'm done being reactive. He let her go, pulled out his phone again. The syndicate meeting is in 2 days. I'm going to make a proposal. What kind of proposal? The kind that either ends this or starts a war. Jay, trust me. I don't. Then trust that I'm the only chance you and Marcus have. And God help her, she did. The next 2 days were chaos. People coming and going from the apartment. Meetings behind closed doors. Jae-Min barely slept. When he did, it was in a chair by her door, gun on his lap. You don't have to guard me personally, she said one night. I don't trust anyone else. Not even your people? Especially not them.
He looked exhausted.
Shadows under his eyes. Tension in every line of his body. Someone leaked your location. Someone in my organization betrayed me. Do you know who? I have suspicions. Serena? Among others. What are you going to do? What I always do. His hand drifted to his gun. Whatever's necessary. The night before the syndicate meeting, Jae-Min made dinner. Real food, not takeout. Some kind of Korean stew that smelled amazing. You cook when you're stressed, Aaliyah observed. My mother's influence. Will she be at the meeting tomorrow? Yes. Does she know about me? She knows everything. And she wants to meet you. That surprised her. Why? Because you're carrying her grandchild. Because you've managed to do what no one else has, make me care about something other than survival. I don't think I did that on purpose. Nothing about this was on purpose. He set a bowl in front of her. But here we are. They ate in silence. The stew was good. warm and comforting in a way nothing had been lately. What happens tomorrow? Aaliyah asked finally. I make my proposal. The families vote. If they accept, you'll be under official protection. If they don't,
Va.
yes. And me? You'll be safe. Whatever happens, I'll make sure you're safe. You can't promise that. Watch me. After dinner, Jae-Min pulled out a small box. Opened it. Inside was a ring. Simple. Elegant. Expensive. What is that? Aaliyah asked. Insurance. Explain. Tomorrow, I'm going to propose that you become my wife. He said it like he was discussing business. Not because I love you. Not because we're in a relationship. But because it's the only way to guarantee the families won't touch you. You want a fake marriage. I want a strategic alliance that happens to look like marriage. That's insane. That's survival. She stared at the ring. I don't want to marry you. I know. I don't even like you most of the time. I know that too. Then why are you asking? Because it's the only move I have left. He closed the box. Think about it. Give me an answer tomorrow before the meeting. He left her alone with her thoughts and a proposal that felt more like a life sentence. Aaliyah didn't sleep. She paced her room, mind spinning. Marriage to Jae-Min. A real, legal marriage. For protection. For survival. It was insane. It was the only option. Morning came too fast. Jae-Min was already dressed when she emerged from her room. Black suit. Perfect hair. Every inch the dangerous man he was. Have you decided? He asked. If I say yes, what does it mean? It means you're officially untouchable. My wife. Mother of my child. Protected by every family in the network. And if I say no, we fight. And hope we win. She thought about Marcus. About her brother playing basketball and going to college, and living a life that didn't involve men, with guns watching from the shadows.
Yes, she said.
I'll do it. Something flickered across Jae-Min's face. Relief, maybe. Or regret. Good. He handed her a dress bag. Wear this. We leave in an hour. The dress was beautiful.
Black.
Elegant. Not quite a wedding dress, but not casual either. It fit perfectly, because of course it did. When she emerged, Jae-Min was waiting. He looked at her for a long moment. You look, he stopped. Ready. I'm not. Good instinct. He offered his arm. Try to look less terrified. I'll work on it. The car ride felt like going to an execution. Chin drove. 2 more cars followed. Everyone armed. Everyone tense. They pulled up to a hotel. Not the front entrance. The service entrance. Through kitchens and back hallways until they reached a private elevator. Where are we going? Aaliyah asked. The real meeting happens underground. Of course it did. The elevator went down.
And down.
And down. When it opened, they were in something that looked like a bunker. Concrete walls. Heavy doors. Men with automatic weapons. This is insane, she whispered. This is Tuesday. They walked down a long corridor, through more security, until they reached a room with a large table surrounded by people who all looked dangerous in different ways. And at the head of the table sat a woman who could only be Madame Kang, Jae-Min's mother. She was beautiful, older, elegant, with eyes that missed nothing. She looked at Aaliyah the way someone might examine a painting, appreciating the artistry while deciding its value. So, she said in perfect English, this is her. Mother, Jae-Min said. This is Aaliyah Brooks. The baker who captured my son's attention. Madame Kang smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. How unexpected. I didn't capture anything, Aaliyah said before she could stop herself. Bold. The older woman's smile widened. I like that. Jae-Min guided Aaliyah to seats. She recognized Serena across the table, looking immaculate and furious. Others she didn't know. Old men. Younger men. A few women. All watching her like she was the main course. Shall we begin? Madame Kang said. The meeting was conducted half in English, half in Korean. Jae-Min translated when necessary. They discussed territories. Money. Shipments. all of it coded but clear enough. Then Jae-Min stood. I have a proposal. Everyone went quiet. As you all know, there have been complications lately. He glanced at Aaliyah. Miss Brooks is carrying my child. That makes her a target. It also makes her valuable. We're aware, an old man said. The question is what you plan to do about it. I plan to marry her. Murmurs around the table. Marriage won't protect her, Serena said. It'll only make the target bigger. Official marriage under network protection will. Jaemin's voice stayed level.
I'm requesting formal recognition.
That any threat against my wife or child be considered a threat against me and, by extension, this organization. That's a significant request, another man said.
I'm aware.
And in return? Madam Kang asked. Loyalty. Complete transparency on the East Coast operations. And expansion into the Midwest markets I've been developing. The room erupted in discussion. Aaliyah sat frozen, listening to people debate her life like it was a business transaction. Because that's exactly what it was. I have concerns, Serena said, standing. Jaemin's judgment has been compromised. This woman is a weakness we can't afford. This woman has a name, Aaliyah snapped. Everyone looked at her. Jaemin's hand found hers under the table, squeezed once. A warning. You're right, Serena said smoothly.
Aaliyah.
Tell me, do you understand what you're getting into?
No.
But I'm here anyway.
Brave.
Or stupid. Maybe both. That got a few laughs. Even Madam Kang's mouth twitched. I like her, the old woman said. She has spine. Spine won't stop a bullet, Serena countered.
No.
But Jae-Min will. Madam Kang looked at her son. If he's willing to stake his reputation on this, I support it. Mother, Serena started. Enough. The word cut like a knife. All in favor of granting protection and recognition? Hands went up. Not all of them. But enough. It's decided. Madam Kang stood. Miss Brooks, you have the network's protection. Effective immediately. Congratulations. Aaliyah felt like she might throw up. The meeting dissolved into smaller conversations. Jae-Min pulled her aside. You did well, he said quietly. I feel like I just sold my soul. You just saved your life. Same thing, isn't it? He didn't argue. They were preparing to leave when someone grabbed Aaliyah's arm. She turned to find Serena, beautiful and cold. A word, the woman said. Jae-Min moved to intercede, but Aaliyah shook her head. It's fine. They stepped into a corner. Serena's grip was iron. You think you've won, she said softly. But this isn't over. I never thought it was. Good. Then you're not completely naive. Serena leaned closer. That baby you're carrying? It's not a blessing. It's a death sentence. For you and everyone you love. Is that a threat? It's a fact. Serena released her arm. Jae-Min is mine. He's always been mine. You're just a distraction. And when he's done with you, I'll still be here. Then why are you so scared? That hit. Serena's eyes flashed. I'm not scared.
I'm practical.
And practically speaking, you won't survive this world. The only question is how long it takes you to realize it. She walked away before Aaliyah could respond. The car ride back was silent. Jae-Min kept glancing at her, but she stared out the window. What did she say to you? He finally asked. Nothing I didn't already know. Aaliyah.
I'm tired.
Can we just go home? Home. The word felt wrong, but she didn't correct it. That night, Aaliyah woke to cramping. Sharp and sudden. She sat up, gasping.
Blood.
There was blood. Jae-Min, she screamed. He was there in seconds, gun drawn, eyes wild. Then he saw the blood, and his face went white. Get the car, he barked at someone. Then to her. How bad is the pain? I don't know. It hurts. It really hurts. He lifted her, carried her to the elevator. Chin was already there with the car. They moved so fast, everything blurred. The hospital was private. Quiet. A doctor was waiting when they arrived. Jae-Min refused to leave her side. It could be nothing, the doctor said after examining her. but we'll monitor overnight. Just to be safe. Is the baby okay? Aaliyah asked. Heartbeat is strong, but stress can cause bleeding. Have you been under stress lately? She almost laughed. You could say that. They put her in a private room. Jae-Min sat in the chair by her bed, looking like he'd aged 10 years. This is my fault, he said quietly. Don't. It is. The meeting. Everything. I shouldn't have put you through that. You didn't have a choice. There's always a choice. Not anymore. She echoed his words from weeks ago. Remember? He looked at her then, really looked at her, and something broke in his expression.
I'm sorry.
For what? For all of it. For New York. For finding you. For dragging you into this hell. Little late for apologies. I know. They sat in silence. The monitors beeped steadily. Outside the window, the city kept moving, oblivious. Jae-Min, she said softly. What happens if we lose this baby? We won't. But if we do? Then we deal with it. He reached over, took her hand.
Together.
It was the first time he'd touched her like that. Not possessive. Not protective. Just human. I'm scared, she admitted. Good. Fear keeps you alive. Is that what you tell yourself? Every day. The hours crawled by. Nurses came and went. The doctor checked on her twice. The bleeding slowed.
Stopped.
The cramping eased. You're stable, the doctor said in the morning. But I want you on bed rest for a week. No stress.
No excitement.
That's going to be difficult, Aaliyah said. Make it work. The doctor looked at Jae-Min. You're the father? Yes. Then keep her calm. Whatever you're doing that's causing stress, stop doing it. After the doctor left, Aaliyah turned to Jae-Min. He makes it sound so simple. Maybe it should be. You don't believe that.
No.
But I wish I did. They were preparing to leave when Chin appeared in the doorway, face grim. Boss, we have a problem. Not now. It can't wait. Chun glanced at Aaliyah. Your brother. Her heart stopped. What about Marcus? He's missing. The world tilted. Jae-Min was on his feet instantly, phone to his ear, barking orders in Korean. What do you mean missing? Aaliyah tried to get up, but the four held her back. You said he was protected.
He was. He is.
My people were on him. Then, Chun hesitated. Someone took them out. Professionally. Whoever grabbed Marcus knew exactly what they were doing. Who? Jae-Min's voice was deadly quiet. We don't know yet. But we got this. Chun held out his phone. A photo. Marcus tied to a chair.
Alive.
Terrified. And behind him, barely visible in the shadows, stood a woman Aaliyah recognized from the meeting. Serena. She took my brother, Aaliyah whispered. She took Marcus. Jae-Min's face went cold. Colder than she'd ever seen. Get me everything. Every camera. Every contact. Every person who might know where she's taken him. Boss.
Now.
Chun left. Jae-Min turned to Aaliyah, and for the first time since she'd met him, she saw something that might have been fear in his eyes. I'll get him back, he said. You promised he'd be safe. I know. You promised. I know. His voice cracked. I know what I promised. And I will fix this.
How?
However I have to. A nurse appeared, started unhooking her for. You're free to go. But Aaliyah didn't feel free. She felt like she was drowning. The car ride back was tense. Jae-Min made call after call, his voice getting quieter and more dangerous with each one. Aaliyah sat in the back seat, numb. This was her fault. She'd brought this into Marcus's life. Her baby brother, who'd never hurt anyone. We'll get him back, Jae-Min said for the third time. When? Soon. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now.
They pulled into the parking garage.
More men waiting. More guns. More tension. Jae-Min helped her out of the car. You need to rest. I need my brother. You need to rest so you don't lose the baby. What does the baby matter if Marcus dies? He grabbed her shoulders. Don't say that. Don't even think it.
Why?
Because it makes you feel guilty? Because you don't mean it. She wanted to argue, wanted to scream. But he was right. She didn't mean it. She was just terrified. Inside the apartment, Jae-Min sat her on the couch, brought her water, stood there looking lost for the first time since she'd met him. "I'll bring him home," he said quietly. "I swear to you, Aaliyah, I will bring Marcus home. And if you can't, then I'll burn the world down trying." He left her there, disappeared into his office. She heard him on the phone, voice rising and falling in Korean. Heard furniture moving. Heard what might have been something breaking. Aaliyah sat in the quiet apartment and realized she'd lost control of everything. Her life, her safety, her brother, even her own body, carrying a child she hadn't planned for with a man she barely knew. Hours passed. Jae-Min emerged once, face drawn. "Anything?" she asked.
Leads.
"Nothing solid yet." "What does she want?" "To hurt me. Through you. Through Marcus."
Why?
"Because I chose you over her." "You didn't choose me. You got me pregnant." Same thing to her. Aaliyah stood up, ignoring the ache in her body. "Then let me talk to her." "Absolutely not. She wants me, doesn't she? That's what this is about. So let me offer myself in exchange for Marcus."
No.
"Jae-Min." "I said no." He moved closer. "You're not trading your life for his. I won't allow it. You don't get to decide that. I do when it's my child you're carrying. Your child won't matter if Marcus dies because of me." They stared at each other, both breathing hard. "There has to be another way," Jae-Min said finally. "Then find it."
Fast.
Another hour. Another round of phone calls. Aaliyah paced the apartment like a caged animal. Her shoulder ached. Her stomach cramped. Everything hurt. Chin appeared.
Boss.
"We found something." They gathered in Jae-Min's office. He pulled up security footage on his computer. "This is from a warehouse in the industrial district," Chin explained. "One of Serena's holdings. We saw movement an hour ago." The footage was grainy. But there, a figure being moved inside. Could have been Marcus. Could have been anyone. "How certain are you?" Jae-Min asked. 70%. "Not good enough. It's all we have." Jae-Min's jaw tightened. "Then we move. Full team. Surround the building. I want eyes on every exit. Boss, if we're wrong." "We're not wrong."
He stood.
"Get everyone ready. We go in 1 hour." Chun left. Jae-Min started pulling on tactical gear, checking weapons, moving with practiced efficiency. "I'm coming with you," Aaliyah said.
No.
"He's my brother." "Which is exactly why you're staying here." He loaded a magazine into a handgun. "You just got out of the hospital. You're supposed to be on bed rest." "I don't care."
Ido.
"Jae-Min." He turned to face her fully. "If something happens to you while we're getting Marcus, I will lose my mind. Do you understand? I will burn that building down with everyone inside, including your brother, because I won't be thinking straight. So you're staying here, where I know you're safe." The intensity in his voice stopped her cold. "I hate this," she said. "I know. But trust me. Please." She wanted to argue, wanted to insist, but the desperation in his eyes made her nod. Okay. I'll stay." Relief flooded his face. "Thank you." He finished gearing up. Looked like a different person in all black, weapons strapped to his body. Dangerous. Lethal. "I'll bring him back," he said. "I promise." "Don't promise things you can't control. Then I'll die trying." He kissed her forehead.
Quick.
Unexpected. Then he was gone. Aaliyah stood in the empty apartment, alone with her fear and the sound of her own heartbeat. Time stopped making sense. Could have been minutes. Could have been days. She sat on the couch, staring at her phone, waiting for it to ring. It didn't. She tried Marcus's number. Straight to voicemail. She tried Jae-Min's. Same thing. The silence was worse than anything. She was about to call Chin when she heard it. A sound.
Faint.
From the front door. Someone was picking the lock. Aaliyah's blood went cold. She grabbed a knife from the kitchen, pressed herself against the wall by the door. The lock clicked. The door opened. A figure stepped inside.
Tall.
Female. Moving with predatory grace. Serena. Hello, Aaliyah, she said calmly. We need to talk. Aaliyah's hands shook around the knife. Where's Marcus? Safe. For now. Serena closed the door behind her. But that could change. What do you want? I want you to understand something. Serena moved into the apartment like she belonged there. This baby you're carrying? It was never the problem. You were. I didn't ask for any of this. Neither did I. But here we are. Serena turned, and her eyes were cold. Jae-Min was supposed to be mine. We built this empire together. And then you showed up and ruined everything. I didn't ruin anything. I'm just trying to survive. Survival. Serena laughed. You think carrying his child makes you important, makes you protected, but all it makes you is a liability. Then why not just kill me? Because I want you to suffer first. Serena pulled out her phone, showed Aaliyah a video. Marcus. Still alive. Still tied up. I want you to watch everyone you love disappear because you couldn't stay away. Let him go. He has nothing to do with this. Neither did you. But that didn't stop Jae-Min from dragging you in, did it? Aaliyah's grip tightened on the knife. You're insane.
I'm practical.
Serena pocketed her phone. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to disappear. Tonight. Leave the city. Leave Jae-Min. Pretend you were never pregnant. I can't do that. You can. And you will. Because if you don't, Marcus dies. And then I'll find every person you've ever cared about and make them disappear too. Jae-Min will kill you. Jae-Min is busy right now, chasing ghosts in an empty warehouse. Serena smiled. I sent him on a wild goose chase. By the time he realizes, you and I will be long gone. Panic clawed at Aaliyah's throat. Where are we going? Somewhere quiet. Somewhere we can have a conversation about your future. Serena gestured to the door. Now move.
No. Sorry?
I said no. Aaliyah raised the knife. I'm not going anywhere with you. Serena looked amused. You think that kitchen knife scares me? I don't care if it scares you. I care that it's sharp. They stared at each other. Two women. Two different kinds of desperate. Then Serena moved. Fast. Professional. She had the knife out of Aaliyah's hand before she could blink. Had her arm twisted behind her back. Nice try, Serena said. But I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. Aaliyah struggled, but the grip was iron. Let me go. Not a chance. Serena dragged her toward the door. Aaliyah kicked, screamed, fought. But it didn't matter. Serena was stronger, trained, dangerous. They were almost to the door when it burst open. Jae-Min stood there, gun drawn, eyes wild. Let her go, he said quietly. Serena stopped, smiled. Welcome back. How was the empty warehouse? I said let her go. Or what? You'll shoot me? With Aaliyah right here? Jae-Min's gun didn't waver. Try me. For a long moment, nobody moved. Then Serena laughed. You would, wouldn't you? Risk hitting her just to get to me. That's how I know you've changed. She released Aaliyah, shoved her forward. She's made you weak. Aaliyah stumbled into Jae-Min's arms. He caught her without taking his eyes off Serena. Where's Marcus? He asked. Wouldn't you like to know? Last chance. Or what? Serena spread her arms. You'll kill me? We both know you can't. I'm too valuable. Too connected. Touch me, and the entire network comes down on you. Try me. But before he could move, Serena pulled out her own gun. Not aimed at him. Aimed at Aaliyah. This is how it ends, Serena said calmly. You choose. Her, or the information about her brother. Can't have both. Jae-Min's finger tightened on the trigger. Don't. 3 seconds. Her or Marcus. Choose. Aaliyah felt the world narrow to this moment. This choice. Her life or her brother's. She looked at Jae-Min, saw the agony in his eyes. Save Marcus, she whispered.
No.
Jae-Min.
No.
His voice broke. I won't choose. You have to. I don't. He moved his gun. No longer aimed at Serena. Aimed at his own head. You shoot her, I shoot myself. Network loses its most profitable operator. Everyone loses. Serena's eyes widened. You're bluffing. Am I? You wouldn't. I spent years not caring if I lived or died. Then she showed up. His hand was steady. And now I care too much. So if she dies, I have no reason to keep going. Which means you get nothing. The silence was electric. Then Chin burst through the door, gun raised.
Boss, we found the kid.
He stopped, taking in the scene. What the hell? Where? Jae-Min didn't move. Where's Marcus? Different warehouse.
South side.
He's alive. Roughed up but alive. Aaliyah's legs nearly gave out. Stand down, Jae-Min said to Serena. It's over. It's never over. But Serena lowered her gun. This is just intermission. Then use it wisely. Jae-Min finally lowered his own weapon. Because next time, I won't hesitate. Serena looked between them. Something shifted in her expression. Not defeat. Strategy. Enjoy your victory, she said softly. While it lasts. She walked out.
Just like that.
Disappeared into the night like a ghost. Jae-Min pulled Aaliyah close. Are you hurt?
I've fine.
Is Marcus really? Chen's bringing him here now. He's safe. She started crying then. Relief and fear and exhaustion all crashing down at once. Jae-Min held her through it, one hand in her hair, the other pressed against her back. I thought I'd lost you both, he said quietly. You almost did. I know. They stood there, wrapped around each other, until Chin cleared his throat. Car's 5 minutes out with the kid. I'll bring him straight up. Thank you, Aaliyah managed. Chin nodded and left. Jae-Min pulled back, looked at her. Really looked at her. You told me to save Marcus. He's my brother. You were willing to die. Yes. Don't ever do that again. I can't promise that. Promise anyway. She touched his face. Would you really have shot yourself? Yes. The certainty in his voice made her chest tight. That's insane. That's what you do to me. Before she could respond, the elevator dinged. Aaliyah turned, and then Marcus was there, bruised, scared, but alive, and she was running to him. Laya. He grabbed her, held on tight. I'm so sorry, they just…
Sure.
It's okay. You're safe now. Those people, they said. Don't think about it. You're safe. She held her brother and felt Jae-Min's eyes on them. When she looked up, his expression was unreadable. But his gun was still in his hand. And that's when Aaliyah realized the real truth. This wasn't over. It would never be over. Not as long as she was tied to Jae-Min. Not as long as she carried his child. Serena's words echoed in her mind. This is just intermission. They'd won today.
Barely.
But tomorrow? Next week? Next month?
She didn't know.
And that not knowing was the most terrifying thing of all. Later that night, after Marcus fell asleep in the guest room, after the adrenaline faded and reality set in, Aaliyah found Jae-Min on the balcony. He was staring at the city, smoking a cigarette. I didn't know you smoked, she said. I don't. Usually. He took another drag. Bad habit from college. She leaned against the railing beside him. Thank you for getting Marcus back. I almost didn't. But you did. This time. They were quiet. The city glittered below them, beautiful and oblivious. What happens now? She asked. Now we prepare. For what? The war. He stubbed out the cigarette. Serena won't stop. Neither will the others. They see weakness now. Blood in the water. Can you win? I don't know. He looked at her. But I'll die trying. You keep saying that. Because it's true. She turned to face him fully. You were really going to shoot yourself? Yes. Why? Because a world where you die isn't one I want to exist in. The words hung between them. Heavy. True. Terrifying. I don't love you, Aaliyah said softly. I know. But she stopped. Started again. I think I could. Given time. If we survive this. That's the biggest if of all. I know. He reached out, touched her face. Gentle, careful, like she might break. I thought love was weakness, he said quietly. Turns out it's just a different kind of strength, the kind that makes you willing to burn everything down. Is that what you do? For me? Yes. That's terrifying. It should be. She leaned into his touch. What if we can't win this? Then we lose together. That's not comforting. It's honest. They stood there on the balcony, two people trapped in a situation neither wanted but neither could escape. The city sprawled below them. Beautiful, dangerous, indifferent. Somewhere out there, Serena was planning her next move. Somewhere out there, enemies were circling. Somewhere out there, the future waited, uncertain, violent, and inevitable. Aaliyah pressed a hand to her stomach, felt the slight curve that hadn't been there before, felt the life growing inside her. I'm scared, she admitted. Good. Jaemin's arm came around her shoulders. Fear keeps you sharp. I'm tired of being sharp. I know. I want this to be over. It will be. One way or another. She looked up at him. Promise me something. Anything. If it comes down to me, or the baby, save the baby. His jaw tightened.
No.
Jae-Min. I said no. His grip on her tightened. Don't ask me to make that choice. Someone has to. Then I'd choose both. Or neither. But I'm not choosing between you. That's not realistic. I don't care. They stared at each other. Battle of wills. Battle of fears. Finally, Aaliyah nodded. Okay. 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 He pulled her closer. She let him. Because in this moment on this balcony, with danger circling and the future uncertain, all they had was each other. And maybe, just maybe, that would be enough. Or maybe it wouldn't. Only time would tell. And time, Aaliyah was learning, was the cruelest enemy of all. The next morning started with pain. Sharp,
Sudden.
radiating from her abdomen. Aaliyah woke up gasping, clutching her stomach. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Jae-Min, she screamed. He was there instantly, eyes wild. What's wrong? Something, I don't know, it hurts. He lifted her, carried her toward the door. But before they could reach the elevator, her vision started blurring. Stay with me. Jaemin's voice sounded far away. Aaliyah, stay with me. The baby, she managed. Is the baby? The baby's fine. You're fine. Just stay awake. But the world was fading. Gray at the edges. Sounds becoming muffled. She heard Marcus shouting. Heard Chin on the phone. Heard Jaemin's voice, cracking with something that might have been fear. Then nothing. When she woke, she was in a hospital bed. White walls. Beeping machines. The smell of antiseptic. And Jae-Min, sitting beside her, looking like he hadn't slept in days. Hey, he said softly when he saw her eyes open. What happened? You collapsed. Internal bleeding. They had to, he stopped. Started again. You're stable now. The baby's stable. But it was close. How close? Too close. She tried to sit up, but her body protested. How long was I out? 8 hours. 8. She looked around. Where's Marcus? Chin took him somewhere safe. Away from all this. Does he know? I told him you were sick. Nothing more. He'll figure it out. Maybe. But for now, he's safe and you're alive. That's all that matters. Aaliyah looked at him. Really looked at him. He looked destroyed. Hollowed out. You thought I was going to die, she said. Yes. And I realized that nothing else matters. Not the network. Not the power. Not even survival. Just you. That's dangerous. I know. Jae-Min. Don't. He leaned forward. Don't tell me I'm being irrational. Don't tell me to focus on the bigger picture. For once, just let me be honest. Okay. I don't know how to love people. I was never taught. My world doesn't allow it. But when I thought I'd lost you, his voice broke. When the doctors said you might not make it. But I did. This time. The words hung heavy. The doctor wants to keep you for observation, Jae-Min continued. 3 days minimum. Then bed rest. Real bed rest. For the duration of the pregnancy. I can't do that. You don't have a choice. There's always a choice. Not anymore. He stood, moved to the window. Serena's still out there. The families are circling. And you almost died, because I brought you into this world. I'm still here. For how long? He turned back to face her. How many more attacks? How many more close calls? Eventually, my luck runs out. So, what are you saying? I'm saying I can't protect you and fight a war at the same time. Her heart sank. You want me to leave. I want you to live. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have. They stared at each other across the hospital room. The machines beeped. The fluorescent lights hummed. Outside, the city kept moving. If I leave, Aaliyah said slowly, where would I go? Somewhere far away. New identity. New life. I have resources. I can make you disappear. And the baby? Comes with you. You'd give up your child? I'd give up everything to know you're safe. The honesty in his voice broke something in her chest. What if I don't want to leave? She asked. Then you're braver than I am. Or more foolish. Maybe both. He almost smiled. Definitely both. A nurse came in then, checked Aaliyah's vitals, adjusted her for. When she left, the moment had passed. Think about it, Jae-Min said. You have 3 days. Whatever you decide, I'll make it happen. And if I choose to stay, then we prepare for war. He left her alone with that choice. Stay and fight, or run and hide. Either way, nothing would ever be the same. Aaliyah pressed a hand to her stomach and felt the slight flutter of movement. Proof of life. Proof that despite everything, something was growing. Someone knocked on the door. She expected a nurse. Got Madame Kang instead. May I come in? The older woman asked. It's a free country. Madame Kang smiled at that. Is it? She entered, closed the door, pulled up a chair beside the bed. Up close, she looked tired. Older than at the meeting. My son is falling apart, she said without preamble. I know. He's never fallen apart before. Not even when his father died. Not even when she stopped. You've changed him. I didn't mean to. The best changes never are. Madame Kang folded her hands. I came to tell you something. Woman to woman. Okay. This world my son lives in, it's poison. It destroys everything it touches. And yet, somehow you've survived. You're still here. Still fighting. I'm not fighting. I'm just trying not to drown. Same thing. The older woman leaned forward. My son wants you to run. To disappear. To save yourself. I know. Don't do it. That surprised Aaliyah. Why not? Because if you run, he'll never forgive himself. And if he doesn't forgive himself, he'll become the monster everyone thinks he is. Madame Kang's eyes were sharp. You're the only thing keeping him human. Don't take that away. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. But it's true. I could die if I stay. You could die if you leave. Serena has reach everywhere. Then what am I supposed to do? Fight. Madame Kang stood. Fight for him. Fight for your child. Fight for yourself. Because that's what strong women do. I'm not strong. You're here, aren't you? Still breathing. Still hoping. That's strength. She left before Aaliyah could respond. Alone again, Aaliyah stared at the ceiling and tried to figure out what the hell she was supposed to do. 3 days in the hospital felt like 3 years. Aaliyah healed slowly. The pain faded. The bleeding stopped. The baby's heartbeat stayed strong. But the fear didn't go away. Jae-Min visited every day. Brought food. Brought books. Sat in silence when she didn't want to talk. On the 3rd day, the doctor cleared her to leave. Bed rest, he emphasized. Absolute. No stress.
No excitement.
Your body needs time to heal. Bed rest, Aaliyah repeated. Got it. But even as she said it, she knew it was impossible. Her life was stress. Her life was danger. Bed rest wasn't an option in Jaemin's world. Chun drove them back to the penthouse. Marcus was waiting, looking worried and guilty. You okay? He asked, hugging her carefully.
I fine.
You don't look fine. Thanks. You know what I mean. He pulled back. Aaliyah, what's going on? Really? She glanced at Jae-Min. He gave the slightest nod. I'm pregnant, she told Marcus. And it's complicated. How complicated? Very. Marcus looked between them. Is he pointed at Jae-Min. Is he the father? Yes. Her brother's expression went through several stages.
Confusion.
Anger. Resignation. Okay, he said finally. Okay. We'll figure it out. You're my sister. Your problems are my problems. He looked at Jae-Min, but if anything happens to her, it won't, Jae-Min said quietly. It better not. That night, after Marcus went to bed, Aaliyah found Jae-Min in his office. He was staring at his computer screen, but she didn't think he was seeing it. I've made my decision, she said. He looked up. And
I'm staying.
Something flickered across his face. Relief? Fear? Both. You're sure?
No.
But I'm doing it anyway. He stood, moved around the desk. Why? Because running won't save me. Because my brother needs stability. Because, she stopped. Because I'm tired of being afraid. Staying doesn't make you less afraid.
No.
But it makes me brave. He studied her. You understand what this means? The danger. The constant threat. I understand. And you're willing to risk it? I'm willing to fight. That got a real reaction. His expression softened. You're insane.
Yeah.
I'm learning that's a requirement in your world. He pulled her close, careful of her still healing body. If you stay, I need you to trust me. Completely. That's asking a lot. I know, but I'll try. He pressed his forehead to hers. That's all I can ask. They stood there, holding each other, knowing that the worst was still to come. Because Serena was still out there. Because the families were still circling. Because war was inevitable. But for this moment, they had each other. And maybe, just maybe, that would be enough. The call came at 3 a.m. Aaliyah woke to Jaemin's phone ringing. His voice low and urgent. Korean words she didn't understand. When he hung up, his face was pale. What? She asked. Serena made her move. What kind of move? The kind that changes everything. He got dressed quickly. All black. All tactical. Every movement precise. Where are you going? Aaliyah asked. To end this.
How?
However I have to. He kissed her.
Quick.
Desperate. Like it might be the last time. If I don't come back. Don't say that. If I don't come back, Chin knows what to do. He'll get you and Marcus somewhere safe. Jae-Min. I love you. The words came out rushed. Unpracticed. Like he'd never said them before. I know you don't feel the same. But I need you to know. You can't just say that and leave. Watch me. He was gone before she could stop him. Aaliyah sat in the dark apartment, heart racing. She wanted to follow, wanted to help, but she was supposed to stay in bed, supposed to rest, supposed to be safe. But safety felt like a lie. Hours passed. No call, no text, nothing. At dawn, Chin appeared in her doorway. Ma'am, he said quietly. Is he
alive?
Barely. Her heart stopped. What happened? Serena had a trap waiting. Boss walked right into it. Chen's jaw tightened. He got out. But the cost. What cost? He killed Serena. In front of the entire syndicate. Broke every rule we have. Is that bad? That's war. Chen's phone buzzed. He looked at it, and his face went white. What? Aaliyah demanded. The families. They've issued an order. What kind of order? Chun looked at her. Execution. For Jae-Min, effective immediately. The world tilted. They can't. They already did. Where is he now? On his way here. To get you. To get Marcus. To run. Run where? Anywhere that's not here. Aaliyah's mind raced. How long do we have?
Minutes.
Maybe less. She was moving before she finished thinking. Threw clothes in a bag. Woke Marcus. Ignored his questions.
We're leaving, she said.
Right now. Don't argue. By the time Jae-Min burst through the door, they were ready. He looked like hell. Blood on his shirt. Cut on his face. Eyes haunted. We have to go, he said.
Now.
I know. They moved as one. Down the elevator. Through the garage. Into a car that was already running. Chen drove.
Fast.
Reckless. Through streets that were just waking up. Where are we going? Marcus asked from the back seat. Away, Jae-Min said. For how long? I don't know. Aaliyah watched the city disappear through the rear window. Everything she'd built. Everything she'd known. Slipping away. Did you really kill her? She asked quietly. Yes. Why? Because she was going to kill you. And I couldn't let that happen. Even if it meant your own death. Especially then. She reached over, took his hand. It was sticky with blood. But she held it anyway. We'll figure this out, she said. Maybe. Definitely. He looked at her. When did you become an optimist? When I didn't have another choice. The car kept moving.
East.
Away from Chicago. Away from everything. Behind them, sirens started wailing. They're coming, Chin said. I know. Boss. I know. The car went faster. The city became suburbs. Suburbs became nothing. Aaliyah pressed a hand to her stomach. Felt that flutter again. Life. Growing. Despite everything. I never told you, she said to Jae-Min. Earlier. When you said, don't. I think I love you too. He looked at her. Really looked at her. You think. I'm not good at this. At feelings. But yeah. I think I love you. That's the worst timing possible. I know. We're literally running for our lives. I know.
He laughed.
It sounded broken. You're insane. I learned from the best. The sirens got louder. Chen swore. They're gaining, he said. How many? 3 cars. Maybe more. Jae-Min pulled out his gun. Take the next exit. Head for the industrial area. Boss, that's... Do it. The car swerved. Aaliyah grabbed Marcus, held him close. It's going to be okay, she whispered. You're lying.
Yeah.
But it sounds good, doesn't it? Everything happened fast after that. The exit. The industrial park. Empty buildings and dead-end streets. Chin tried to lose them.
Failed.
Gunfire erupted. The rear window shattered. Marcus screamed. Aaliyah pulled him down, covered him with her body. Get them out. Jae-Min yelled at Chin.
Go.
I'll hold them off.
No.
Aaliyah grabbed his arm. You're not staying. I don't have a choice. There's always a choice. Not this time. The car screeched to a stop. Jae-Min kicked open his door. Chun. Get them to the safe house.
Now.
Boss. That's an order. Jae-Min looked at Aaliyah one last time. I meant what I said. I love you. Don't you dare. Take care of our baby. And he was gone, running toward the gunfire. Toward certain death. Chun dragged Aaliyah and Marcus out of the car. Into a different vehicle. Moved before she could protest. Through the rear window, she watched Jae-Min disappear into the smoke and chaos. No, she whispered.
No, no, no.
But the car kept moving, and Jae-Min got smaller and smaller until he was gone. 3 days later, Aaliyah sat in a safe house in the middle of nowhere. No phone, no internet, just Chun and Marcus and silence. Any word, she asked for the 100th time. Chun shook his head. Nothing. He's dead. We don't know that. 3 days and no contact. He's dead. Marcus put a hand on her shoulder. Aaliyah. Don't. She pulled away. Just don't. She went to her room, locked the door, pressed a hand to her stomach. Your father's an idiot, she told the baby. A brave, stupid idiot. The baby fluttered in response. Like agreement. She laughed. It came out like a sob. That night, she woke to shouting. Chen's voice. Someone else's. She grabbed the knife from the nightstand, Chun had insisted, and opened the door. A man stood in the living room, covered in blood, swaying on his feet.
Jae-Min.
You're alive, she breathed. He looked at her. Barely. Then he collapsed. The next hours were chaos. Chun called a doctor. Someone arrived, no questions asked. Patched Jae-Min up. Left medication. When he was stable, Aaliyah sat beside his bed. You're an idiot, she said to his unconscious form. I know, he muttered, eyes still closed. You're awake. Unfortunately. She didn't know whether to hit him or kiss him. I thought you were dead. So did they. How did you? Luck.
Timing.
A complete disregard for self-preservation. He cracked one eye open. The usual. That's not funny. Wasn't trying to be. She took his hand.
Carefully.
What happens now? Now we hide. For a while. How long? Until I figure out how to fix this mess. Can you fix it? I have no idea. He squeezed her hand. But I'm going to try. Why? Because you told me you loved me. And I'm not dying before I get to hear it again. Despite everything, she smiled. That's manipulative. That's survival. They sat in silence. Outside, the world kept turning. Somewhere, enemies plotted.
Somewhere, danger waited.
But here, in this moment, they were alive. Together. And that was something. The baby kicked. Hard enough for Jae-Min to feel it. Was that?
Yeah.
Does it hurt? A little. In a good way. He pressed his hand to her stomach. Felt another kick. Strong, he said quietly. Like their mother. Like both of us. Aaliyah looked at him. Really looked at him.
Beaten. Bloody.
Half dead but fighting. We're going to make it, she said. Not a question. A statement. Maybe. Definitely. When did you become so optimistic? When I didn't have another choice. He pulled her down beside him.
Carefully. Gently.
I don't know what happens next, he admitted. Neither do I. But whatever it is, we face it together. Together, he agreed. And somewhere in the distance, as dawn broke over the safe house, Aaliyah heard a phone ring. Chun answered it. His face went pale. Boss, he said quietly. You need to see this. Jae-Min sat up, wincing. What? Chun held out the phone. A photo. Madame Kang. Tied to a chair. Beaten but alive. And a message underneath. You took something of mine. Now, I take something of yours. Your mother's life for the girl and the baby. You have 48 hours. The message was from someone Aaliyah didn't recognize. But Jae-Min did. His face went white. Then red. Then something beyond rage. Who is it? Aaliyah asked. Serena's brother. I thought you killed her. I did. His hands were shaking. But I forgot. She has family too. The phone rang again. Same number. Jae-Min answered. You have 48 hours, a male voice said. The exchange happens in Chicago. Same warehouse where you killed my sister. Come alone. Bring the girl and whatever's growing inside her. Or your mother dies. Slowly. The line went dead. Aaliyah's blood ran cold. He wants me. He wants revenge. So give it to him. Let me go. Absolutely not. Your mother is strong. She'll survive. You don't know that. I know I'm not trading you for her. That's not your choice. They stared at each other. Battle of wills. Battle of love and loyalty and impossible decisions. 48 hours, Jae-Min said finally. That gives us time. Time for what? To plan. To fight. To save everyone. That's impossible. So was everything else we've survived. He stood, ignoring the pain, ignoring the blood seeping through his bandages.
Chun.
Give me every contact we have. Every ally. Every person who owes me a favor. Boss.
Now.
Chun left. Marcus appeared in the doorway. What's happening? He asked. War. Jae-Min said simply. Again? Always. Aaliyah pressed a hand to her stomach. Felt the baby kick. Felt the weight of everything they'd survived, and everything still to come. This was supposed to be over. But it wasn't. It was never going to be over. Not until someone won. Or everyone died trying. 48 hours, she said quietly. 48 hours, Jae-Min confirmed. And somewhere in Chicago, in a warehouse where blood had already been spilled, someone was waiting. With Madame Kang. With a plan. With revenge. The clock was ticking. And Aaliyah Brooks, pregnant, terrified, trapped, realized something. She wasn't just a victim anymore. She was a weapon. And it was time to fight back. No way they ended it there. The question, will Aaliyah survive? Comment, baby lives, baby.
Comment Aaliyah dies schreiendes Gesicht.
Comment everyone dies, skull.
Who was on that phone?
And where are you watching from at this hour? Crescent moon. Thumbs up like if this destroyed you, bell subscribe for part 2. Speech balloon drop, need part 2 below. Scale 1 to 10. How toxic is this relationship?